project? I don't remember. It probably is a fee.
Seems like a swing and a miss.
All right, I'm calling the committee of the whole for Murray City Municipal Council to order for June 2nd. Our first matter, all council members are present. First matter of business is approval of the minutes for May 5th, 2026. Do I have any changes?
I didn't see any.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the minutes of the committee of the whole for May 5th, 2026.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Councilmember Cotter and a second from Councilmember Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay. First discussion item is an update on UDOT's front runner. 2x, double track? I don't know, what do we call this? 2x, there we go. Brian Allen and Braden Anderson presenting. All right.
Would you like me to plug in here? We have. Okay. My name's Gray. I'm neither Brian Allen nor Braden Anderson. But there.
You are
I'm Gray Thomas.
Gray Thomas. Good.
What is a good connection?
And what do you do?
I handle public involvement and communications for the project. I made this slide presentation. Oh, HDMI, that might be better.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I have a connection here. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're set.
Okay.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay. That was very seamless, plugging that right into the screen.
So my name is Gray Thomas. I'm with Frontrunner 2X. I handle the public involvement and outreach and city coordination for the central section and the north section. And Braden Anderson here is the deputy project manager on the project. And he'll guide us through this presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Ray.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for letting us take a few minutes out of your schedule this evening, afternoon-ish. So, yeah, next slide, and we'll kind of,
You know what, I'll let you.
oh, push the button.
You want to push the button this
Even
time.
better. So, this is kind of a new project for UDOT and UTA. It's a partnership between the two agencies. It's going to be managed by UDOT during construction, and then once construction is complete, UTA will take over operation, and they'll operate it, and we'll be on the picture at that point. But for the design and construction phase, UDOT is executing the contract, essentially. So that's how that project team dynamic works, but obviously with input from UTA all along the way. So that's how the project team is set up. And then we've got a project or a progressive design builder on board, and we got a few people from that team representing us here. The contractor is a joint venture between Stacy Whitbeck and RLW, and we've got the designer of Horrocks and David Evans and Associates. So, kind of a quick team intro. And then we've got a video that explains our project. It's about 2 minutes long, not too long, but I think it does a fantastic job at explaining what double tracking is and how that'll benefit the system. Fingers crossed it works.
Runner. You've heard of it, you've ridden it, probably. You gotta train every 30 minutes during peak time, which is great, but Utah is growing, which means more people will take the train. So as time moves forward, we're gonna need more trains more often. But here's the thing, you can't just stick more trains on the track. It's not that simple, which is why we have the Frontrunner 2X project, to get us twice the trains, from one every 30 minutes to a train every 15. Here's how it works. Most of Frontrunner is a single track, like this one right here. That other one is for coal and Amazon packages, things like that. Frontrunner doesn't use it. So we have one track for both directions that then separates into 2 tracks or a double track at each station, so trains can get around each other. Computers coordinate this, it's very sophisticated, very safe, but sharing that single track limits how often trains can arrive at stations. So, for instance, say you just missed the train. Sorry. Okay, you're waiting for the next one, and it's 30 minutes away. Now, if we just added another train right here, it'd have to stop because this train is on the single track. But we don't want to stop, except when taking on passengers. So instead, FrontRunner calculates the most service we can provide without having to stop the trains. And your original train is part of that calculation. It arrives at the single track right as it opens up. The additional train wouldn't make any difference. And calculations show that the most service we can get on FrontRunner is 30 minutes between trains. Okay, that one leaves, you wait 30 minutes, another one shows up, you get the point. And if we want that gap any shorter, well, actually, go back to the train. Try this again. Okay, this is you missed the train, next one's 30 minutes away, but this time, let's extend the double track. Now the other train gets off the single track sooner, which means we can put that other train on the tracks. And just like that, we have a smaller gap between trains. And that's our plan. We're extending the double track in key areas all along the 83-mile FrontRunner corridor, giving us more trains with a smaller gap between them, from 30 minutes to 15 minutes during peak hours, and from 60 minutes to 30 during off-peak time. That's twice the double track, twice the trains, twice the departures. That's the FrontRunner 2X project. So next time you miss a train, you know another one isn't far behind. Learn more about the FrontRunner 2X project at frontrunner2x.utah.gov.
All right.
FrontRunner.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's probably one of the best little videos that sums up the project that I've seen. So, but just moving along, the purpose of our project obviously is to increase capacity and ridership on the FrontRunner. Right now it's at 90% capacity during peak hours and peak directions. And so by doing this project, we'll be able to double the frequency to every 15 minutes during the peak times, as well as reduce congestion on the trains by having more trains available for passengers. So that's the overarching goal of our project. Some of the benefits, obviously increased frequency, increased ridership by having additional trains and having them more often, improved reliability in the network, increased choice versus driving a car. As we've seen I-15 get more and more congested over time. It's predicted by 2050 they'll be actually faster to ride FrontRunner by 17% than by driving on I-15. So it provides an additional choice for transit along the Wasatch Front, work travel. And it supports economic development in all these areas where there's train stations and communities that are built around them. Kind of a summary on what this project will involve, our scope. Will be 11 double track sections. We briefly saw the map. We'll look at it again here in a second. One new train station out in Bluffdale. As kind of related to the Point of the Mountain development that's going to be happening out there in the next few years. So there'll be a train station there. A track realignment kind of near the Warm Springs area. 10 new train sets, and then a new maintenance facility to maintain those additional trains. And that'll be just north of their current maintenance facility. There'll be an additional maintenance facility there. And if you have any questions, feel free to jump in and let me know before I get too
Where
far
is
on.
the maintenance facility?
It'll be just north of Warm Springs maintenance facility, just off Beck Street, kind of where the interchange of 215 and I-15 is up north. That's where the new facility will be.
It looks like south of Woods Cross, correct?
Yes, yep, south of that station. And then, yep, here's the map showing where there's existing double track with the blue, and then single track where it's just gray, and then the red is what we're gonna be adding with this project. In strategic areas around these stations, kind of how we saw in the video, bikes in that double track, we can add those trains into the system and it'll work at 15-minute service. So you can see the layout of those. The new maintenance facility, the new train station, as well as all the new double track that's gonna be going in.
It looks like Utah County is almost all double track in your town.
It'll be nearly complete when it's after this project, as far as double track goes, yeah.
Would the goal be to have it all be double track eventually?
At some point, yeah, that's part of the FrontRunner Forward long-term plan.
Is it just, would be more expensive to do now because of more labor and more track, but
Yeah. Our project timeline, we started this project about 2 or 3 years ago. Started the environmental study in 2023 and 24. That was completed last year. We're in the final phases of design for the project. We should be finishing up this summer or fall. And then we're slated to begin construction in 2027. It's all pending on our federal grant approval that's going through right now. And then the goal is to have construction complete by 2030 and have that 15-minute service available.
Have you seen any environmental issues since you started this?
Not really. I've got someone here that can help answer that question.
Okay.
If, I don't know.
Yeah.
Josh.
I would say it's,
Could you come on up? There's some microphones. I'll see you there.
yeah, so part of the environmental process, we did categorical exclusions for each of the project segments, basically following NEPA procedures. And part of those we do, field surveys for aquatic, biological, cultural resources. We do modeling for noise and vibration impacts. And for Murray's relatively unimpactful to environmental resources. There really wasn't anything delineated adjacent to the corridor. There was no noise and vibration impacts to any properties adjacent. Particularly, we don't have there's no residential properties adjacent to this segment. Our main concern is there are some contaminated areas. So that's something we're working with, developing, materials management plans, working with the DEQ and other entities that are kind of overseeing those sites. So that would be the primary concerns with environmental resources here in the Murray segment.
With the construction, is it gonna make any kind of delaying of any of the front runner, tracks, whatever? Is it gonna delay any of those?
There will be some minor delays here and there, but the goal is to impact the system as little as possible during construction. There'll be times where certain areas will have to be closed for track switchovers, things like that. For the most part, the goal is to keep the schedule as close as it is right now as possible.
I think you can do this.
And then, kind of focusing in on the Murray area, we've got a section overview we can talk about, showing the limits of where we are working in the Murray city itself. South Point there, just next to I-215, going north up to just south of the Murray station. So that's the area within Murray that we'll be doing construction. Most of it's along commercial, industrial type of properties, so not a lot of impacts to residents. There was no noise or vibration impacts that require mitigation on this project, so that's always a plus. Right of way, next. Minimal right of way requirements in this area as well. A few positions along roofing commercial properties, I believe. A lot of the property acquisitions coming from Union Pacific. So as we fit that additional track in, we've got to move the Union Pacific rail in some areas to make room for the new ETA tracks. So yeah, no total acquisitions or relocations are required on this project in Murray. Anything else?
No, I think most right of way impacts are really between 5300 South and 5900 South in that area. It's commercial properties. And then also from 59 to the station off of Winchester.
Okay. A few notable items along Murray's segment is there'll be a new bridge going over 5300 South for the additional track. We're gonna sneak it in between the Union Pacific and the front runner tracks that are currently there.
That was my question.
So there'll be a new bridge.
That's your district, that's one.
There'll be some impacts during construction. We had a goal to keep all 3 lanes open during peak times of traffic, and I think we've been able to do that. There'll be some lane closures from time to time, and then there'll be a full closure as we move girders in place. So the goal is to keep that as little impact as possible as far as vehicular traffic goes through that bridge, under that bridge.
Do you know about the time frame for that?
I believe that is early 28. So still a
Years.
couple of years.
That will impact the vehicles under there.
Will it affect the traffic on 53rd?
Yeah.
That's gonna be big.
Are you gonna talk to the school district about this so they know, because kids from the west side come over to here for
Yeah,
high school.
yeah, absolutely. I know that we've been reaching out to the hospital and
Oh, yeah, the
high school as
hospitals.
well, so. Yeah,
Okay.
we're coordinating with them, just to let them be aware, or emergency services, let them know that there's gonna be potential road closures there.
And how much will it impact, what's the time frame on the impact of road closure?
Well, that there's gonna be traffic impacts.
Yeah.
Probably under a year, I believe.
Yeah.
So it'll be a while, but yeah, the goal is, again, we're keeping all 3 lanes open each direction during peak times of traffic, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll
Well,
alleviate a
peak
lot of
time
problems.
is from 5 to 10
Yeah, in the morning it's
AM
eastbound,
AM, PM.
westbound in the afternoon, eastbound in the morning, so.
Yeah,
So yeah, we'll make sure that is impacted as little as possible.
so you will be extending that bridge over 53rd, correct?
We'll be adding a new bridge.
Why-
new
yeah.
bridge. Because right now
Yeah,
it's,
that's right, a new bridge.
Yeah.
it's too narrow. the
Wait,
second one.
that impacts the trains also, right?
The existing trains can stay where they're at.
Okay,
We're putting, kind of snaking a bridge in between those 2 bridges,
okay.
so. Yeah.
And 59th.
And then
Okay.
5900 South is since we're adding another track, we're gonna be widening that grade crossing there, so that'll be closed for a period of time as well. I think roughly the same time, 28.
Yep, 10-day closure.
A 10-day
Just
closure.
go in, take it all out, replace it, open back up.
I can't get to my mall.
Just for 10 days, just for 10 days.
Just kidding. Wow.
So those are the I think the biggest notable items as far as impacts to traffic and probably the general public.
Yeah, and then on the public side, public involvement side, we'll be, when it comes around to that, we'll be creating graphics and doing outreach in order to let people know what the best way around this would be. And as far as outreach to schools, that'll be part of a larger public involvement strategy to inform the public of safe methods of crossing the construction zone.
Okay,
And with the right of way, are people aware of
gosh,
like
that's
the ones that it's gonna affect? Have you received much pushback on?
I'm not sure if there's no pushback on right of way. Have you heard of much in this area?
No, folks are just more concerned about, if they're, what the temporary impacts are going to be to, how their properties function.
Oh.
A lot of it's temporary construction easements just to help facilitate the construction activities.
Because on 59th, there is a house that is very close to that bridge area.
Yeah, we don't have any residential homes that are impacted
Okay.
in this segment.
Okay.
Yeah, and all the people that are impacted, we've been working with them for months already, so they're not being surprised at this point, so.
Okay.
So they're really concerned, you probably would have heard of it.
Yeah, well, probably. But yeah, that's another reason we're coming to talk to you guys now, is also as we get further along in design and construction, you'll have more information as far as where to get answers and project details if you do get people from the public reaching out, so. Or just let us get here and answer your questions now, and then just add a face to the project a little bit, so. A big one, construction noise, that's always a concern by people adjacent to the project. There will be some temporary noise and vibration, it's just the nature of construction, luckily it's just temporary. A big question is always quiet zones. As you know, last year, the trains were blowing their horns going through all the crossings. That was corrected several months back. The big question is, will that still be enforced during construction? And the answer is yes, there'll still be quiet zones. There will be some horn blowing of the trains just for safety as they're passing an active work zone, but it won't be the big, long horns that we've heard during the suspension to quiet zone, so. But yeah, as far as, some train horns, there will be some, just during active construction as they pass people out working. So, it will be quieter, but not, silent. Any questions on the vibration, quiet zone, or anything like that? And then just moving on to next steps, final design, wrapping up this summer. We'll continue coordinating with your staff. We've been coordinating with them previously. At this point, though, we felt it was time to come to the council and let you guys know more about it. And then
And that's with Public Works, correct? Okay.
we met with them last week and kind of got their feedback for this presentation just to see if there's anything you guys have questions about, so we could address those for you guys right now.
Anticipated finish in 2030,
Yeah,
well before the Olympics.
that's the hope, yeah. Yep.
Well, they still have 4 years, so.
Yeah, definitely want this to be in place by the Olympics for sure. So it's a very important project in the state. I know it's on the governor's top 10 list, I believe, of projects in the state is in the near future. So it's got a lot of priority put behind it to get it moving forward and completed. So there will be some potential utility work before 2027, but that will be very non-impactful to general public. It's some utility relocations offline, so you may see some work happening, you may hear about it, but it's pretty minor compared to the rest of the project, so just a heads up on that. Main construction in 2027. Any questions? Thank you.
And I also have some cards here, the front runner, public involvement information, phone number, email, website. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to refer them to the frontrunner2x.utah.gov webpage.
That'll have that video that we.
That will have that video, as well as most of the information
Yeah, there'll be
here.
lots and lots of information, frequently asked questions, all kinds of good stuff on the website, so I recommend looking it up.
I have to tell you, I have a pass, the UTA pass, because I work downtown.
Mhm.
And my biggest thing that keeps me from going is I'm not gonna catch the front runner. I don't wanna wait half hour, I'm just gonna drive in.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So when it gets moved every 15 minutes, I'll be more likely to say, I just take my time, get there and ride it smoothly.
yeah,
So I'm
absolutely.
excited for that.
Yeah, it'll be a very nice option to have less time if you miss a train to the next train, yep. Okay, we'll continue to reach out, Gray will be in contact with your folks, and as we get closer to the project, we'll have more information as far as impacts to the city and your residents, so. And don't hesitate to reach out in the meantime if you have any other questions.
Alright, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Alright, our next discussion item is an update on the America 250 celebration rolling coats.
I'll use the keyboard.
Oh, sorry.
Easier.
Yeah. UTA. I never imagined boycotting anything.
Well, this one I.
Okay, so I've been asked to just give a little bit of an update on what we've done so far and some of the things coming up for our America 250 projects. A key program of the America 250, Utah specifically, is a service project. Bruce Holyoke and Tree Utah partnered together and planted 40 trees in Murray Park in April, so that was our fun. We wanted to really focus on us as a tree city and how that has played a part of our history. So we partnered with Tree Utah to plant 40 new trees in the park, and we had, lots of volunteers come. So that was really exciting. One thing that we've kind of, our angle with America 250 is take some of the programs that we're already running and giving them an America 250 theme. So these are some that the rec center and recreation have done. So they've did a specific American flag puzzle for their jigsaw puzzle competition. Their movies in the pool, they did Captain America. So this is just a broad example of some of the things. In cultural arts, for our Cottontails writing contest, we did the next great tale, encouraging kids to write the next great American classic for our writing contest. At the amphitheater this year, specifically our concert season, we are focusing on American artists. So Linda Ronstadt, Queen of Country Rock, Tina Turner, Queen of Rock and Roll, and the Allman Brothers all have really deep roots in American history. So that's how we're showing that in September. At the museum, we'll be having our next new exhibit opening in July. And our next big Lego build will be in July, and it will be the original Murray City Hall. So we wanted to feature a big part of Murray's joining Utah and being part of America. So we're doing City Hall. So that's just a small rendering of the mini build that we'll be handing out. We'll get about 300 of those, and then the large build will be in July. For Fun Days, our Fun Days event is featured on the America 250 Utah website with all of their, pretty much everywhere in the state that is having a 4th of July event or a specific America 250 event. They've featured it on their website so they can go and it's kind of consolidated everything, and then it'll take them to our website with all of our information for Fun Days. All of staff will be wearing America 250 shirts on Fun Days, and we're just very excited. A new thing for Fun Days this year is we will be showing a movie at the Murray Theater. It's during that dead part of the day, 3 o'clock, when it's 1,000,000 degrees outside and no one wants to be in the park. They're trying to get Hamilton, but we're not 100% positive yet on if we'll have that. But that'll be a fun movie to watch to celebrate some of America's history on the 4th of July. And they're planning to do showings at, I believe, 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock if we get Hamilton, because it's a 3-hour movie. And then normal Fun Days programming, our chalk art, plein air contest, the parade will be big. And then we have a Hartley Road, it's an 80s rock tribute band. We'll be doing our evening entertainment after everybody's done watching the movie at the theater. And so that's kind of our big stuff up until the 4th of July and some of September for America 250. Any questions?
Is the council gonna get one of these shirts to wear in the parade?
Yes.
Yeah, we can get you a shirt easily.
I'm getting shirts. I'm not gonna make you wear them, but.
If I'm given a shirt like that, I'll wear it.
Just wear a shirt.
It's got the big America 250 logo on the back.
That's cool.
So, yeah. Any other questions?
Will the theater be doing anything else in the week leading up to July 4th?
Not that I know
Oh,
of.
that, okay, so that's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, not that I know of. I just know about the 4th because I had to put it on my flyer. I had to update the flyer, so. Yeah.
If you need, Clark will dress up as Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, yeah. Have a photo op in the theater.
Yes, for sure. That sounds very nice.
There'll be an air conditioning in the theater.
I'm there.
So there won't be any kids' movies in the theater during this time?
We're only planning on Hamilton at the moment, during that 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock time period. Since there's things happening in the park during that before 2 o'clock, that's kind of our plan at the moment. I know we were potentially gonna show 1776, but we decided to do Hamilton instead. It's a little more entertaining.
I like 1776.
So,
I just wish there was something for the kids to see,
yeah.
because being hot and it would,
The park clears out at around, our programming ends around 2:30, 3 o'clock. And I think the kids' games end at 2. So they're usually probably pretty dead for the day. Yeah. Yeah, we don't see a ton of the like little kids coming to the 8:30 show in the evening,
No,
so
no, that's their bedtime.
yeah, it's my bedtime too, so. Yeah.
This may not, I mean, something I've been thinking of is a part of the America 250. I saw that on the 5th, they encourage people to do a America's potluck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we doing anything like
We
city-wise,
haven't
like
planned anything
like
with
in the
it
big
being,
pavilion?
with it being right after the 4th of July.
Right.
We haven't planned anything for the America's potluck. Since we're kind of, all of our eggs are
In
in the 4th.
basket. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't planned anything for the potluck.
Okay.
Would you be opposed to some other organization
No,
stepping up
I would
and-
not be opposed to another organization planning something.
The kind of the city's extended
My
as far as
staff's
it can.
capacity is,
Right.
on the 5th, we sleep till
That's right.
3 in the afternoon.
America's nap.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. But no, I have no opposition to another group if they wanna do a potluck for the 5th. So, yeah. Anything else?
Okay, thanks, Ron. Good update. All right, our last discussion item is a resolution approving a cooperation agreement between Murray City and Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands for a cost reimbursement grant for a trail lighting project adjacent to the Jordan River. Jeff Mark, presenting.
All right, so we're here again with another grant that we've been awarded, hoping that you'll accept it. This grant is for $40,000 to go towards the Jordan River program project for our solar lighting on there. I was just informed this afternoon, we got word that the rest of our components that we're waiting for, our poles, light poles, have been delayed, but they should arrive on Monday. So we'll get started on getting those installed.
So the project's gonna cost 200,000.
It is, so this is a small portion.
So we have to put the bill for 160.
But we put that in the budget last year, or it's in this year's budget, yes.
So, any questions on that?
No. Can we get more?
Alright.
Never
We always ask for more,
satisfied.
but. Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay,
Simple
so
and easy.
then with that, we are adjourned. 6:25 for municipal building.
Welcome, everybody. I call this Municipal Building Authority meeting to order. We would like to start by the approval of our May 19, 2026 minutes. Do I have a motion?
A motion to approve the May 19th, 2026 minutes.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Okay, we're going to do a roll call vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, thank you, appreciate that. We have one item, and it's a public hearing considering a resolution of the Municipal Building Authority of Murray, Utah adopting a budget for fiscal year July 1st, 2026 and June 30th, 2027. And Brenda Morris presenting. Thank you, Brenda.
Hello. So we're having a public hearing, and then hopefully you will adopt the final budget for the Municipal Building Authority. Basically, this is their budget. Rents received are $3 million, debt service is $3 million, and then public works construction to get them started is $5.2 million, and then we will do a rollover in September of anything else that has not been completed this year. And any questions?
There doesn't seem to be any questions. Thank you, Brenda. We will now open for public comments. You'll have 3 minutes. State your name and your city of residence. I see no one standing up for public comments, so I will close the public comments and turn it back over for any comments or questions from the council. Seeing that there are no comments or questions, then I will entertain a motion.
I move to make a motion and approve the resolution.
We're getting clarification here. Give me a second. Okay, let's move forward to the motion. Thank you.
I move to move the resolution of the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City adopting its budget for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Brooke, would you call?
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Mr. Boland?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye. Looks like this budget for fiscal year 26-27 has passed. And with that, the meeting for the MBA is adjourned.
To call to order the Murray City Council meeting for June 2nd, 2026. All council members are present. Like to excuse the mayor and our city attorney, G.L. Critchfield. Today we have Kim Sorensen representing the mayor from the mayor's office and Mark Richardson from the attorney's office. Thank you for being here. My name is Clark Bullen. It is 6:30 and I will be conducting the meeting. We will now have a Pledge of Allegiance by Camilla Larson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, by liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Camilla. We will now move on to the approval of minutes for council meeting May 5th, 2026. Do we have any comments or corrections? Okay, then I will take a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the council meeting, May 5th, 2026.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Brooke, will you call roll?
Ms.
Or-
Hearn, yep. Oh, all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now we will move on to the citizen comment portion of our meeting. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please step to the microphone, state your name, city of residence, and then you will fill out the required form. Patty has those forms for you. She'll either bring them to you or you can find her over there. Of note, we have several public hearings later on in the meeting. If you are here to comment about the subject of one of those public hearings, we encourage you to make your comment during that time of the relevant public hearing. Okay, we will proceed with citizen comments.
Hello, my name is Roseanne Coleman. I am currently on the Murray Senior Rec Center Advisory Board. On the board, we talk a lot about how we can expand our programs and the limited space we have. We are growing at an incredible rate and quite frankly need more space for all the activities we offer. We have more classes, activities, and trips now more than ever. I feel that the Murray Senior Center is vital to the lives of our growing population of aging baby boomers, giving them a place to make those connections, keeping them active and healthy. I wanted to let the City Council know how much I have enjoyed being a part of the growth and continued support of our seniors in Murray. We appreciate the support from the Murray City Council. I would invite all of you to join us for some of our fantastic events and trips happening this month. For example, our evening social dances every Thursday, our trip to the Murray Amphitheater to see Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and our Taste of Murray to the Art Garden. This month, we are starting the Friday Dine and Delights where we will be entertained during lunch every Friday during the summer. Join us for the Elvis Impersonator lunch on June 19th. I hear he's pretty darn good. We also have some fun plans for July, like our Liberty Tea Party and a trip to the Hive Winery tour and tastings. It was so popular in June, they had to put us on a waiting list so we could sign up for July. So, once again, thank you for your support in keeping our center a living, thriving place for all seniors to enhance their lives. I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Roseanne. Are there any other citizen comments? Seeing that there are none, we will close the citizen comment portion of our meeting and move on to our special recognition. An introduction of Miss Murray 2026, Sarah Christensen, Kim Sorensen presenting.
Council and citizens, it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you 2026 Miss Murray, Sarah Christensen, and little Miss Murray is with us as well, Ellery Larson. Just a few weeks ago, they were both crowned, and we congratulate both of them. Wonderful, wonderful ladies. I can tell you that we look forward to working with Sarah throughout the year and her representing Murray City. So congratulations to her. I know she has a presentation. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I do want to apologize for the technical difficulties. You'd think with my age I would know a little bit better, but that's okay. We're still here. Just like he said, my name is Sarah Christensen, and I am so honored to be your new Miss Murray. This year I had the opportunity to compete in the beautiful renovated Murray Theater just a month ago exactly, so that is incredible. Time has flown already. It was an incredible experience to compete for the title in such a meaningful community. And it was so.
Sarah,
Yes.
could you move the microphone closer
Oh
to
my
you so
gosh,
we
of
can pick you
course.
up on the sound?
Is this better?
Perfect. Thank you.
Is able to move up? Okay. To compete for the title in such a beautiful, meaningful community space, it was also just so fun to have every seat filled in the crowd due to it being completely sold out, having everyone gather in the heart of Murray for that special night. Thank you, City Council, for allowing us to have that space. I've always had a deep love for Murray City. I'm born and raised here, just right off of 5600 South, and I never want to leave. This community has genuinely raised me. I'm a Mighty Mite, Gladiator, and a Spartan. I'm sorry that you guys can't see my presentation, but everybody in the back can. We are a family of all girls. Everyone is sorry for my dad, but personally, I believe he wouldn't have it any other way. My oldest sister, Jessica, she's 28 with one son and another one on the way. And then it's Brooke, who's 25. And lastly, my little sister, Eden, who's 14. Jessica was actually Miss Murray in 2018, and I've always looked up to her. Growing up, I would copy her every last move, which is why I think I'm here today. Watching her serve as Miss Murray 2018 showed me what it meant to give back to a wonderful community. Seeing her represent this city inspired me to want to do the same one day. I got to witness her impact on so many youth's lives and dedicate all her time to serve. Last year, as one of Alexis's runner-ups, I had the opportunity to work alongside her and witness firsthand how involved this organization is in the community. From local events to service opportunities, I saw the positive impact this program has on the people of Murray. Not only is this organization about serving the community, but also being an example to inspire our upcoming generation to do the same. I served as a student body officer my freshman year at Hillcrest Junior High, and then my sophomore year at Murray High School, where I then transferred to Mountain Ridge High School, where I got elected to be senior class officer, and I graduated there in 2022. One of the greatest blessings this program has already provided me is the scholarship support for my education. As a student, that investment has made a beautiful difference in my life since I'm a fully independent financial student. I'm incredibly grateful that the city of Murray continues to invest in young women through this program. Those scholarships are not just financial support, they are opportunities that help us pursue our goals and give back to our communities. I'm completing my prereqs at SLIC, and I hope to apply to their dental hygiene program in the fall. I became a certified dental assistant at JTech my senior year, which I'm so excited for Murray High to add on the Apex Center, which for all of those that don't know yet, that's a medical tech building to further opportunities for the students to enter the medical field. Right out of high school, because of that, I was able to secure a job in dentistry that I've loved from the start. I've worked at 3 pediatric offices, and I'm currently at Happy Tooth, and I've been there for 3 years now. Some fun facts about me: I love hiking. My favorite hike in Utah is Bell's Canyon, which I complete on average around 8 times per year. I also love to go camping at Teton National Park and hike all around. I love dogs. I volunteer at the Humane Shelter in Murray, and I walk dogs on WAG in my free time. My dream dog is a Scottish Terrier that I hope to name Charlie one day. I've been playing the violin since I was 6 years old. My teacher, Miss Ruth Godfrey, also lives here right in Murray. Some things I've already been able to complete in my month of being crowned. My runner-ups and I visited the Hogle Zoo since they were one of our sponsors. It was so fun to connect deeper with them and look at all the animals. I also went around and delivered thank you cards for the other sponsors we had. Being a Mighty Mite myself, I was so thrilled to help out at McMillan's Field Day. Last year, being on Miss Murray's royalty, I was fortunate to attend the theater's reopening and see the city's commitment to preserving places that build our community together. It made me proud to represent a city that values both its history and its future. It was surreal to then be on the same stage that Lauren Allred was just months before. I was asked to MC the talent show held at the theater, but sadly got violent food poisoning that morning. So my first runner-up, Ashlyn Talcott, filled in for me last minute, but I'm still so sad I missed it. I also joined other misses in making corsages for a local care center for Mother's Day. I had the pleasure of asking Ellery to be my little miss and made a reappearance at McMillan for their Fit Fun Walk Run. One of my favorite events so far is a firefighter breakfast that I hope will always be a tradition. My goodness, those suits are so heavy. Major respect for those hardworking women and men that keep us safe. And I was so honored to be able to meet our wonderful Mayor Brett Hills, but I'm so sad he's not here today. I hope he's well. Before I conclude, I simply want to say thank you. Thank you to the City Council and the City of Murray for continuing to support this organization and the young women who participate in it. Because of your support, young women like me are given opportunities to develop leadership skills, pursue higher education, serve our communities, and grow into confident leaders. I'm already experiencing the impact of that investment, and I look forward to spending the next year giving back to the community that has given so much to me. I hope to represent Murray in a way that reflects the faith and support that this city has given to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. And Ellery? And thank you, Ellery. Thank you for representing Murray and for presenting. And it's cool that you come from a legacy of Miss Murray and your family. We will now move on to our public hearings. First, public hearing, we will consider an ordinance amending sections 16.04.020 and 16.04.040 of the Murray City Municipal Code regarding the definition of a boundary line adjustment and the designation of a land use authority for specific subdivision application reviews, approvals, and appeals. Zachary Smallwood, looks like Chad is presenting.
I'm going to substitute for Zach tonight. Thank you. Appreciate that introduction. This is a fairly straightforward text amendment. As was read, this has to do with boundary line adjustments. Sometimes we call those property line adjustments. The state code has been in a constant kind of state of trying to improve this process. Boundary line adjustments, property line adjustments are important. They can sometimes lead to some issues if they're not done in an ordered way, but the state has done a good job of trying to present some changes to state code and to our local codes to try to streamline those boundary line adjustments. Boundary line adjustments are different from subdivisions in that there's not a new property created. We're simply adjusting the line between two properties. What we found and what the state has found is there are, even with boundary line adjustments, they're not all created equal. Some of these are very simple, very straightforward. Sometimes a fence has been placed in the wrong area. Both neighbors are fine with that location, but they want to change that property line to actually reflect where that fence has been installed rather than the actual boundary line. Sometimes it comes down to landscaping that's been installed that was just installed a little bit over neighbor's property line. Again, both neighbors are fine with that adjustment, and so they want to change those property lines to reflect the actual improvements on site. So we've done a couple of things. We wanted to address that. We've had, over the last 6 months or so, we've had several applications for these simple boundary line adjustments. Because our code right now designates the Planning Commission as the land use authority, we've had to go through a more formal process than what is now allowed for in state code, which allows us to streamline that and create that as an administrative action rather than going through the land use authority, the Planning Commission. So the proposal is to designate, you can see that down there at the bottom of this table, that simple boundary line adjustment. Staff will now be the land use authority for that, which means they can be done administratively. It'll streamline the process for property owners. This usually comes up at a time when people are looking to sell their property or purchase a property. And so those are situations where, having a little bit shorter process is advantageous to those that are going through that. The other reviews are remain the same. Just to give you an idea what the difference between a full boundary adjustment and a simple boundary adjustment, full boundary adjustments would be on properties where there is an impact on the public right-of-way, where this boundary line adjustment would potentially have an impact on an easement. Those are things we still want to have that full review. With simple boundary line adjustments, again, they're just little 3-foot, maybe 4-foot, maybe 6-foot adjustments in a very dedicated area of the lot. So the rest of those reviews are the same. We have put them in a table, though. This was something that we're trying to do as we go through amendments in our code, is create these tables that are much easier for staff to administer and much easier for the public to understand. So that's the table that's proposed. These are the two different definitions for simple and full boundary line adjustment. I won't read those, but kind of gave a description of that already. A couple other just tweaks to our definitions to make sure that we are clear on what we're talking about and who we're talking about when we talk about these land use authorities. And then we did take this to the Planning Commission. They did recommend unanimously that the council approve that based on the findings that are up there on the screen. We're again recommending approval of this, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from the council for Chad? Seeing as there are none, we will now open the public hearing. For the public hearing, comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please step to the microphone, state your name and city of residence, and fill out the required form. We'll proceed with public comments. Seeing as there are no public comments, we will go ahead and close the public comment period for that agenda item and move on to our second agenda item. Yes. Are there any more questions from the council for Chad? And then, seeing as there are none, we will go ahead and take a vote.
Motion.
Well, we'll take a motion. I'll entertain a motion.
All right, I will make a motion to adopt the ordinance amending sections 16.04.020 and 16.04.040 of the Murray City Municipal Code regarding the definition of a boundary line adjustment and the designation of land use authority for specific subdivision application reviews, approvals, and appeals.
And I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Brooke?
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Mr. Hawk.
Aye.
Mr. Pickett.
Aye.
Ms. Cotter.
Aye.
Mr. Boland.
Aye. We will now move on to our second agenda item, our second public hearing, which is consider an ordinance amending the city's fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. Brenda Moore presenting.
Before we get into all the stuff on the upcoming budget, there's one final budget amendment we need to do for the current year budget, 25 and 26. The budget that's up for public hearing today has some grants in there. It has the water fund allocating reserves at $850,000 for the well on Winchester that we were originally planning on bonding for, but did not. And then some work in the Murray Parkway, increasing revenue $51,000 and allocating that to professional services and credit card fees. And then the most important thing on here is there is language in this that allows me at the end of the year to transfer any .2 or any transportation tax that we receive in addition to budget, that's over budget, to transfer that to the CIP fund where it will then be used on projects in the next year and to adjust the budget accordingly, because I don't know what that number is yet. And then the other thing it allows me to do is transfer any amounts above that would leave the general fund reserves above 26% to the CIP fund for use for future projects. and adjust the budget accordingly. That way, I don't get written up by the state auditor for transferring more money than we have budgeted. So that's the whole purpose of that. Any questions about what's in this budget opening?
Are there any questions from the council? Seeing as there are none, we will open this public hearing for citizen.
Point of order, before you open the public hearing, just if anybody has it, this is for this year, the 2025-2026 budget, not the 26-27 budget. So if you have comments on the 26-27 budget, that will be later in the meeting.
Oh, thank you for that clarification. We are opening the public comment period now. Seeing as there appears to be no public comment on this item, we will close the public comment period. Are there any further questions from the council? Seeing as there are none, I will take a motion. I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the ordinance amending the city's fiscal year 2025-2026 budget.
I'll second.
I'll second. We have a motion in 2 seconds. I have a motion in a second. Brooke?
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Mr. Boland?
Aye. Thank you. The motion passes. The ordinance passes. We will now move on to public hearing number 3. Consider an ordinance adopting the transfer of monies from enterprise funds to other city funds. Brenda Moore presenting.
Okay, so this is the first of probably 4 public hearings on this, or 3 public hearings and 1 business item on the 2026-2027 budget. So because we do a transfer, you also get to hear about administrative and overhead costs. And if you have been on the council for forever, you're seeing the same presentation as I did last year and the year before and the year before that. So here we go. What's the difference? We do transfer out or transfers. The calculation is based on a percentage of enterprise fund revenue. It's a return on shareholder investment to the general fund to subsidize services that would otherwise require increase in property taxes. It contributes approximately 8% of the general fund revenue, or $5.46 million. The administrative cost allocation is calculated based on a percentage of the actual administrative services cost. It pays for centralized administration and professional services that including the legislative branch, legal, finance, IT, and human resources. Estimated cost to the enterprise funds is $5.1 million. Transfers to the general fund. It's the definition is a movement of cash and resources from one fund to the other. The purpose, where public sector utility companies are in business to provide a return on investment to its shareholders. Murray City shareholders, the taxpayers and citizens, receive this return on investment as a transfer to the general fund intended to subsidize services, police, fire, and parks, which would otherwise require an increase in property taxes. The methodology is 8% of the budgeted operating revenue in 3 of the enterprise funds: water, wastewater, and power. This is just a chart, how we come up with the amount. Water, 10 million in revenue, 8% of that is 865,000. Wastewater, 9.6 million in revenue, 8% of that. Power, they have 47.7 million in revenue, so their assessment is 3.8 million, total of 5.4, and that is the percentage in the orange of the transfer compared to the rest of their revenue. And then you'll see this chart millions of times or hundreds of times, but the general fund funds or revenue comes from these sources, and 8% of that is the transfers in. The admin services allocation. So the legislation requires a cost accounting breakdown of how money in the enterprise funds are being used to cover administrative costs and overhead in the city. This was supported or is supported by a study performed in 2012. You say, wow, that's really old. It is. Not much has changed since 2012 in the services that are provided to the different enterprise funds. Departments in the allocation model are the council, the mayor, the finance department, utility billing, which is 100% sent to the utility enterprise funds, human resources, the city attorney, the city treasurer, recorder's office, IT, and GIS. The facilities department was added and after the study, and it's allocated based on the number of facilities that the facilities department helps oversee. The administrative services allocation, total costs in those areas that we allocate out is $11.9 million. And the general fund keeps 54.4% of it, and the rest are allocated as outlined in this little chart. And it's a little easier to see on this one on who gets what. The general fund is the big, large green. Power gets 18.81%, and then the others get a smaller chunk of the costs. Any questions?
Are there any questions from the council?
I'm one of those who have been here forever, and you did a good job again. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. We will now move to the public hearing for this. We will now move to the citizen comments for this public hearing. We'll open that now. Seeing as how there are none, we will.
I'm sorry. I haven't.
Could you please come to the microphone? Yeah, and can you give us your name and city of origin?
Yes, I'm David Child, Murray City. And the question that I have, I mean, I don't know exactly how to do this because I received the mailing that said we're going to be transferring money from these collections that we've made. I heard that they were called investments, return on investment. From the water fund or from the power fund, and we're going to move them to the general fund. And I was a little confused by it. It seems like it's an investment on the one hand, but maybe not. We're just paying it into water, which went up 17% last year and 17% this year. And then it's being transferred out into the general fund. Is it appropriate for me to ask, is that's what's happening, or is this not a question and answer kind of situation? Because I don't know, but I don't know how to learn things like that.
Yeah.
So can you help me to know that? Or is that not the thing to do?
You can ask the question and then we could have Brenda respond afterwards, but after we close the citizen comment.
Those kinds of questions.
Yeah.
So another question that I just ask is the general fund, that's not in discussion tonight, is that right? We wouldn't be asking questions like, how are we managing the overall budget, and do we really need to make these transfers, or those kinds of issues? Is that a different kind of a hearing, or is that this kind of a hearing? Because that would be a question I'd ask. I've wondered a little bit about how we're managing our city funds. And I read that, for instance, everybody gets a cost of living increase, and then I don't know if everybody gets a merit increase as well. But I've wondered how that works, and I've wondered how our salaries compare to other cities of comparable size. And if we're being fiscally, on the one hand, I mean, I know the taxpayers and the expense payers in the city, it's not it's not simple times, and I presume it's not simple for the city, but it might be. It might be you just ask for more and you get it. And I know we can't ask for more. We're on fixed incomes. And so I was just wondering things like that. And so I apologize if I won't need any more seconds. Thank you. So anyway, thanks for letting me have a second and kind of ask those sorts of things.
Thank you, David.
Appreciate it.
Are there any other citizen comments? Seeing as how there are none, I will close the citizen comment period for this public hearing. Brenda, would you address some of the questions?
So the return on investment, let's just start with this. 1/3 of the property in Murray City is not taxable for property tax purposes. One thing that these big, huge, nonprofit entities do is buy power, water, and get rid of wastewater. So as a way to help the city provide services to those entities, we do a transfer from the water, sewer, and power department to cover some of their costs. If we didn't do this transfer, we would still need the same number of police officers, we would still need the same number of firefighters. We could probably decrease the number of parks, but then the quality of life within Murray City would go down. And it would take at least, I think the last calculation is about a 40% property tax increase in order to cover what the transfer brings us. It's a matter of, if we don't do the transfers, all of the burden to run the city will fall on the for-profit businesses and the citizens that own property in Murray. So that's part of the reason that we do the transfers. It helps spread the cost of running the city throughout all of the people who use city facilities.
Thank you, Brenda. Are there any further comments or questions from the council?
I have one. Brenda, will you just explain why it's the percentage? I guess I'll just make the comment. We always do 8%. We don't deviate from that.
No, we don't balance the budget using this. I mean, it's part of our revenue, but we never deviate from the 8%. It's always calculated at 8%. So if our expenses have to go way high, we don't change that. We have to figure out a different way to cover the expenses or lower our expenses. It's the straight 8% of revenue, and it's not entirely all revenues that they get, but it's most of them.
Thank you, Brenda. Any other comments from the council? Okay, seeing as there are none, I'll take a motion.
I'll make the motion to adopt the ordinance which adopts the transfer of monies from enterprise funds to other city funds.
I second it.
Brooke?
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Mr. Hawk.
Aye.
Mr. Pickett.
Aye.
Ms. Cotter.
Aye.
Mr. Bolin.
Aye. That ordinance passes. We'll now move on to number 4, the public hearing number 4. Consider an ordinance approving and adopting compensation increases for the executive municipal officers of the city for fiscal year 2026-2027. Brenda Moore presenting.
At least on this one, I changed the color scheme, so. But it's the same as what was last year. The state law, why are we here? State law passed that says that we need to discuss any raises for executive municipal officers. I think this law started as council and mayors. They were eliminated, and it left the attorneys and department directors and all of those types of things. The city attorney has determined that it includes appointed employees, department heads, and their assistants and superintendents. Pay increases have always been discussed as part of the budget process and existing public hearings. Murray City has a step plan. This will answer this gentleman's question. All employees except for the city council, mayor, judge, and chief administrative officer are on the step plan. You can find the exact rates on our website. The step plan positions are assigned a step range. The pay range is divided by 12 incremental pay steps. The merit increases, the younger you are in your job, the more you are learning, and the less you get paid. So you get a 5% increase every year. 2.5% in steps 6 through 12, all based on performance. If you do not meet a certain criteria, you do not get it. So they are basically a merit program. Range adjusts with cost of living increases. There are annual market comparisons, and adjustments are done biannually. We compare ourselves to other cities within the valley and comparable jobs. Employees move to the next step at their anniversary or promotion date. There are advantages to this. It's very clear in the budget what we're going to pay for employees. It addresses pay equity. It gets rid of some of the biases that you may have if a department director is able to say, well, you get a raise, you don't, for whatever reason. It's transparent, very predictable, and employees know what to expect. All employees in this budget that we're talking about tonight are receiving a 2% cost of living adjustment, including the council and the mayor. All employees received the appropriate step increase on their next step date, and some employees received a market adjustment. There was only 2. The judge got a small one. Well, police and fire, all of them got, except for one, got raises. But the assistant power director and the judge got a small increase to get him within market. And this is a very busy slide because I really don't want you to spend a lot of time looking at it and who got what raise, but there they are. Any questions?
Are there any questions or comments from the council?
Can you explain what's the policy on market adjustments?
Right now, police and fire, we try and keep them on average, and we adjust them every 2 years. That way we can compete for amongst all of the fire departments in the area. The civil service, or those that are not police and fire, we look at them, same, we do market studies every year, every other year alternating with police and fire has been the custom. We may not be able to, depending on revenues and stuff, continue to do as many of those raises as we have in the past. Telling everybody that now, just because budgets are getting tighter.
And then our goal within the market adjustment is to keep them within 5%?
For civil service is to keep you within 5% of the market. So never above. I mean, if you end up above for some whatever reason, we never lower your wage, but we try to keep you within 5% of market for civil service.
So when you compare to similar sized cities in the state of Utah, our salaries fall within 5% of their range also?
Yes, the average. We pick cities that are comparable to us and who have the same kind of job titles and stuff, yes. But so we are within, I could be 5% under them, or I could be at average, or, but we try to keep you at least within 5%.
Thank you. And Brenda, did you say the step increases, how often do those happen?
On your anniversary date or your promotion date, whichever happens to be, for me, it's my promotion date.
So an employee can get a step increase and a COLA increase in the same year?
I actually get one within 2 weeks. I get my step and then I get a COLA. There's a lot of June 1st or July 1st employees who started on July 1st. They will get a COLA and a step increase on the same day.
And do most other municipalities do COLA and step programs the way we do?
I don't know how many have a step program per se, but they usually do COLA plus merit. And then, yeah, which is essentially what ours is. Our merits just kind of flow throughout the year. They don't all happen at once.
Before we did the COLA and the STEP program, what was the kind of catalyst to make us do this? Were you here when we changed it?
Yeah, I was here. It was changed in 2018. I think from 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, there were very little COLAs, no merits. And what happened is that new police officers were making the same as police officers that had been there for 4 or 5 years. And so it was kind of creating like a compression. So, and then you had people, we were not getting paid as much as other people on average, the people around. So they instituted the STEP to kind of keep that compression from happening. As long as you fund the steps, we don't have a compression problem. If you get promoted to supervisor, you get a certain amount of raise, and it just keeps everybody kind of uncompressed. They know what's happening. It's very well, it's thought out. And I personally thought it would be unsustainable, but we have enough retirements in the city that overall the wages don't go up that much. Before we did the 2% COLA, and I just took the people and did the wage on budget citywide went up $150,000 before the COLA.
Were there like retention issues before we instituted this program?
Yes, there were. Well, let's put, if it wasn't a retention problem, it was a morale problem, because it's really hard to not get raises for 3, 4, 5 years. And you're happy you still have a job during the recession, but you also are trying to deal with the same amount of money coming in.
Are there any other questions or comments from the council? Thank you. I'd like to open this public hearing to public comment.
Am I allowed to?
Yes. Please state your name and city again.
David Child, Murray City. So I was just trying hard to understand, and I wonder if, first of all, are those public records? Can I see the chart that you kind of said, I'd like to hurry past this one? Is that available to us?
It's on the website.
Okay, so thank you for that. So if I was a Murray City employee, would I be getting a 7% raise this year if I had been here for 4 years? I'd be getting 5% step, and I'd be getting 2% for COLA. So I've worked in the private sector. I haven't ever worked in the public sector. So I've never heard of things like that before. We were told over and over about how lucky we were to get a cost of living raise, and to receive a 7% raise each year would be most welcome. And so I'm a little surprised. Maybe all the cities compare themselves to each other and they all give each other those equal sorts of, because that's what the other city does. So we get to do it too. I'm not sure, but it seems like a very aggressive amount of salary increase, especially in these kinds of days. You had mentioned good to just have a job, but it's really good to have a job that you get 7% increases on. I'd never heard of things like just because you've been here 3 years, you get more. I've heard of things like positional changes, and that they're made a merit increase of one reason or another, but not just because they've been there for another year. So anyway, it just, I have a hunch that everybody's just gonna say yes, and that'll be the end of it, but, I don't know, we don't get to do that, so you're lucky. I don't know, sorry, that's probably not appropriate, the kinds of things I'm saying, but I've just wondered if that's all, if there's anything that ought to be reconsidered with that, especially with the tax increases coming with our property taxes and with our water rates and other cost increases, they're going to these kinds of things, and that's getting expensive. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. I do.
My name is Dylan Barney. I live in Murray, and I find it interesting what the Murray City has done recently as of 2018. For about 40 years, I worked for the federal government at Hill Air Force Base, and it was not uncommon to get step increases and cost of living increases and merit increases for what work that I did or that others have done. And so I just see that as a kind of a common thing. What private industry does, I don't know. I've never worked in it that much. I think in my entire life I may have worked there for maybe 5 or 8 years, but other than that, most of my work experience is with the military and with the government. So I find what Brenda is doing, what Murray City is doing, is a commendable thing.
Thank you. Are there any other citizen comments on this public hearing? Are there any comments or questions from the council? Oh, yes. Seeing as there are none, I will close the public comment. And now, does the council have any questions? This is my first time, by the way. Thank you. Brenda, could you speak to, with the increases, the merit increases, is the evaluation process or it's not just automatic?
It is not just automatic. The average, once you get to step 12, you're only eligible for the cost of living increase. The average of those who are eligible to participate in the plan is a 2.5% merit. And then the average, if you take out all the people that are redlined, as we call it, is 3%. So yeah, there are people usually lower in their ranges, new police officers, new firefighters, new parks maintenance people that are making 20 or anywhere from 17 to 20 bucks an hour. They're the ones who are going to get the 5%. And then after that, it goes down to 2.5. What was your other question?
Oh, like if is there an evaluation to?
Oh yeah, there is an evaluation. They're evaluated once a year. If you have to get a 2.5 out of 5, so you've got to be above average or to get it. I have in my office at one point, they no longer work for us, made it so that someone did not get their merit, and that does happen. If you are not succeeding at your job, you will not get the step increase.
When employees start for working for a city, like for the jobs that do have a sort of a public sector comparison, do they maybe start lower? I mean, and
We
then the
end
step
up
helps them get
average.
close to the.
At the end of the steps, I think, is where we try and be average. So yeah, it could be a little lower, a little higher. But it is, it's a range from start to finish. And you can come in at a step 4, depending on your experience, or most police officers come in at a 0 because they have had no experience whatsoever. Firefighters the same way, and they work their way up.
And the idea behind the step is to get them to market rate.
Yes, get them to market within a certain amount of time.
Some jobs might start you at market, but we
get them to market.
Get you to market through a step program.
Yep.
Any other comments or questions from the council?
Brenda? So since we have the STEP program, has it helped with retention?
Yes.
And that was the reason.
That was the compression and retention, and that was the whole reason, and the ability to hire. I believe we are able to, for most jobs to hire. We're competitive, and so we can fill positions that are open. Sometimes it takes a while, but we can fill them.
Thank you. And it's expensive.
It is.
Right, but it's expensive to train and train and train, and so
It is.
retention's important.
Yes, and a lot of city jobs are very specialized in knowledge.
Right.
So even the sprinkler guy in the parks, he's got a specialized skill and he knows where things are, and it's specialized.
Thank you.
Brenda, don't leave. Is this going to be sustainable in 5, 10, 15 years? Or because you don't have a crystal ball, you can't really
I can't tell
project
you.
this?
I don't know. I didn't think it was going to be sustainable really by now, but we have enough people that retire on a regular basis that it's in rotation of the higher paid employees and you start over in the cycle, that it seems to be sustainable, and it's, we will have to cross that bridge when it comes, and so far it has not come.
And other cities do this, correct?
Other cities do it or do something very similar to it.
Okay, so it's not anything new that Murray
No.
has started, or because other cities are doing it, it's very
Yes.
common that, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brenda.
Brenda, might as well, right? There was no column here for percentage of increase when you combine the two, so me and my little cell phone have been playing here. Thanks to Gemini, I can do it much faster. I see the increases vary from 1%, in fact, one was 0.9, to 12.7%, but I've seen the range for some of these. Once you add the annual rate plus the annual rate after next step.
Yeah. Hate to tell you, this isn't a chart that I did. It looks like, I think, yeah,
Like when you do that first line, assistant fire chief from 140 to 157.
oh yeah, he's getting a raise. He's on that adjustment for the, and it's almost 8% for just that market adjustment, because in the last 3 market adjustments, he has said no, and we finally said, we gotta get you at least close.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's got, same with the assistants, the police chief was the same way, and his deputies, we had gone through two cycles where we never gave them a raise because we knew they wouldn't leave, and they said give it to the low guys, and finally we have got to keep them within market because they can leave if they want and go find a police chief job somewhere else. Will they? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it seems only equitable that occasionally they are at least paid average.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be as transparent as possible
Right.
in this discussion. And it was just a bad optic year, you know,
Yeah.
to have those things happen along with a proposed, you know, tax increase. It
Which
just-
is part of the tax increases to pay the police chief and the fire chief and to pay for those wage adjustments in the police and fire.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the council? Seeing as there are none, I will take a motion. Okay.
A motion to approve the ordinance, or adopt the ordinance approving and adopting compensation increases for the executive municipal officers of the city for fiscal year 2026, 2027.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Brooke?
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Nay.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Mr. Boland?
Aye. The motion passes. I should have allowed or excused Miss Murray and little Miss Murray and their families to leave earlier. Not that budget meeting isn't super fun, but you and your families are welcome to leave or stay for more budget meeting.
But you could stay until 9.
Yes. Okay, we will move on to public hearing number 5. And, okay. Murray City intends to make the following statement containing each of the following elements, A through D as required by state law. A, the Murray City is considering levying a tax rate that exceeds Murray City's certified tax rate, in parentheses, tax rate increase. B, the appropriate dollar amount of and purpose for additional ad valorem tax revenue that would be generated by the proposed tax rate increase. C, the approximate percentage increase in ad valorem tax revenue for Murray City based on the proposed tax rate increase. And D, that if Murray City proceeds with the proposed tax rate increase, Murray City will provide notice of and conduct a public hearing as required by state law, Utah Code 59-2-9194C, at which members of the public will have an opportunity to provide comments on the proposed tax rate increase. Brenda Moore presenting.
This is almost verbatim from what I read in the last meeting and what I will read in the next meeting, except for the next meeting, the tax rate will probably go down. The Murray City Council's tentative budget, which is scheduled for a public hearing tonight, contains a property tax levy increase above the certified tax rate, which will be released in June. The city needs more revenue than what is anticipated to be collected from other revenue sources and the current property tax levy with anticipated growth. The proposed budget requires $863,709 of new property tax revenue, including growth. The proposed amount is a 6.92% increase in the city's certified tax levy from calendar 2025. This is just an increase of the city's portion of the property tax paid, not the entire amount a taxpayer will pay. It is anticipated that the amount of revenue required will change after the property tax growth figure is received from the county auditor. The certified tax rate for the Murray City Library will remain the same as the county auditor will provide in June. In other words, no property tax increase to support the library. The revenue increase would be used for additional police officer, additional overtime for police and fire department, pay range increases for the city's police officers and firefighters, and an additional vehicle/fire truck maintenance in the fire department. If the city proceeds with the tax rate increase, the city will provide notice of and conduct a public hearing on August 11th as required by state law code 59-2-9194C, at which members of the public will have an opportunity to provide comments on the proposed tax rate increase. They may also comment tonight if they so choose. So that's that statement.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the city council?
This is just a statement, not a public hearing. The public hearing comes down 2 more. Next, we get to talk about the property impact statement.
Perfect. Moving on. Okay. Public hearing number 6. Presentation of the property tax impact schedule. Brenda Moore presenting.
Okay, this is the exact same presentation I did last time. This is what the state law says, this is what we do. The property tax increase impact statement, it's a new requirement. It's designed to make the public aware. It shows details about the property tax increase. So as we have calculated it now, I do not know what the certified rate will be for 2026. So this is based on 2025 numbers. The current property tax rate was 0.001403. The current property tax revenue is 12.4. The city needs 13.3, so the estimated to generate an additional tax of $863,709. Estimated property tax rate increase would be 6.92%. The combined rate, if you happen to live in the Murray School District, would be a 1.21% change. If you happen to live in the Granite School District, it would be a 0.97% change. Estimated increase to a primary residence valued at $602,900 would be $32.19 or $2.68 cents per month. So it will go to $429,882 of this will go to the police department to fund a new officer, and then to put into the regional computer forensics lab, the market adjustments that we're doing for officers' salaries, and to make sure that they are paid within average, and overtime, which has been increased to allow for more hours to be spent on major investigations and incidents. The other $433,827 will go to the fire department, fire salaries for market adjustments, which helps in the hiring. Overtime will be increased to lessen the number of times fire shifts operate at minimum staffing level, and due to increased costs of vehicle/fire truck maintenance, that expense account will also be increased. And that is the end of those statements.
Thank you. There is no public hearing on number 6, but we'll move on to number 7, which will have a public hearing.
I have a comment.
Oh, are there any comments or questions from the city council?
Brenda, can you go back? I'm going to try to see where you were at. When you were talking about the increases, yes, right there, 3. Yep. The increase of the $863,709, that increase is because of the cost of things that are costing more.
Right. We did have increased revenue in other areas. It just did not cover everything that we need to cover.
Okay. And when are we going to know about if we have any new revenue?
Well, we probably should have at least some new property tax growth revenue because we did annex a small portion. We annexed a few houses in area, so that should come to us this year. We will know that somewhere between the 8th and the 10th of June.
Okay. And that could change just a little bit.
It could change. It could lower that. On average, we get $100,000 of new revenue, so that could lower that down to 7.63, which would lower the property tax increase down to 5.92.
Can you just explain really briefly for those that are watching this on YouTube, whatever it is, revenue? What does it mean for the city when we have revenue, new revenue? What does that do for us?
For property tax, it's new growth revenue. So that means that we had an apartment building come online, somebody put a flag lot in, and so now we have an extra house. You've got the little annexed area that we got, which will probably generate a little bit of revenue. So it's just property tax receipts that we will eventually get. It takes up to 4 years sometimes, depending on how active people are at actually paying their property tax. But they will that's new growth. And if we weren't doing a property tax increase, our tax rate would go down this year, most likely.
Okay. And then can you go back to the slide where the state said that we had to get a police officer to do the forensics?
Oh, yeah,
Say the
it's,
word. Thank you.
it's,
Forensics.
the state has said that the Regional Computer Forensics Lab, or we need to actually get people back their electronics quicker, and they need to be processed quicker. In order to do that, the cheapest way for the city is to take a police officer and put it in the forensics lab. We don't have to buy any equipment, we just need an officer up there. Well, if we put an officer up there, that pulls an officer out of one of the areas of the city that we would prefer to keep fully staffed.
And with the increase of population here in Murray, we're going to need that police officer to cover that new position that the state has mandated us to have.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, because our population is growing, not as fast as some people think, but it is
Right.
growing. And our daytime population definitely is growing. So we need to keep as many police officers on the street as we can.
Yep. And then the other one about the firefighter, I don't, was it number 4? Slide
Yep.
number 4? Yep, that's it. So we have to have another firefighter.
Well, we didn't ask for a firefighter.
Right.
We're just asking for overtime.
Got it.
We
Okay.
increased their overtime, and then we need to make their salaries average. I like to say our firefighters are above average, but I can only afford to keep their salaries average.
Okay, that's right. Thank you for the correction. That's all my questions I have for you, Brenda. And Brenda, thank you again.
Can we go over some property tax basics?
Yes.
How does the law handle inflation on property tax?
If, and this will be in the truth and taxation hearing, I should have gotten a slide, I should have put it in here. If everybody's property values go up, my tax rate goes down. Unless we talk about it, like we're sitting here talking about it, the only way that the city gets new revenue is if we have new growth, or we say we want to raise the amount of revenue we get. They do all kinds of math trying to make sure that that property tax rate based on the value of all of the property in the city gives me the same amount of revenue every year. So now individually, your house may have increased more than somebody else's, so your tax may go up, and even though the city did not receive any more revenue. Somebody else's went down, yours went up, but the city gets the same amount.
So let me see if I've got this right. If we set our revenue goal at $1,000 and we had 10 houses, everybody's going to pay theoretically $100.
Mhm.
And if my property bill came in at $110, it's because somebody else is paying $90.
Exactly.
Because we set our revenue goal at a certain point.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And just for further clarification, if I can make sure. So we are guaranteed the same amount of money as last year. And if everyone's properties increase in value, like all of them go up, that does not give us more money.
It does not.
If there's no additional growth to the city, if like we are fully like stagnant on growth, we only get the same amount of money. And so just because your house appreciated $300,000 in value does not necessarily mean that you're paying more, only if it increased in proportion to other people's. But if everyone's went up a commensurate amount, then your property tax did not increase unless we pass an increase.
Correct.
And is that unique to Utah, or is that,
It actually is pretty unique to Utah. That's what people complain about in some areas, because their cities are automatically getting more revenue because their property values went up 15%, so their city's now getting 15% more revenue. That does not happen in Utah.
so the purpose behind that is so that every time you have to increase the amount you pay, there's actually a vote on it. That it's not automatic based on property values appreciating like it is in some states.
The juxtaposition of that is if for whatever reason everybody's property values went down, my revenue is guaranteed to be the same, so you would end up paying more. So, I mean, you know, the tax rate would change, so the city would get the same amount.
And that's under that.
It's never happened, but it could.
Any other questions or comments from the council? Okay, that one does also not have public comment, but this last public hearing does. And that, number 7, we're on number 7? Yes, okay. Yes. Yeah. We are going to actually close. I think. But we won't have a vote. Yeah. So, number 7, public hearing for the proposed fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. Brenda Moore presenting.
I'm going to go through this, even though you guys have all seen it, just in case somebody is watching who doesn't know the essence of what is in the thing. The budget highlights, we are using $915,000 of Class C reserves to do road projects. We're using $3.2 million of the .2 tax. Property tax increase of the revenue, we've talked about that ad nauseum, the 2% cost of living adjustment, the STEP program. The budget includes a health insurance increase net of 14.7% on existing employees, dental increase of 3.9%. It includes the 1 new police officer, 11 public safety position page ranges were increased to be the average of market, affected 144 employees. Municipal court judge and the assistant power director received market. The library fund, increasing reserves, saving for a new library. The central garage fund, using 0 reserves. They are going to get a new parts truck. Retained risk, using 725 of reserves just to keep us down at the level that we feel we need. And the actual cost of insurance and premiums increased 13% this year. Enterprise funds, the water fund is using 1.3 million of reserves for projects. Revenue has increased. The capital projects of 2.5 million, including 2.2 million in pipe replacement, a new service vehicles, and they are modifying an existing truck instead of buying a new fuel tank truck and pump. The wastewater fund is using 3.5 million in reserves. Charges for services revenue increased 3% for the 5th of their 5 yearly rate adjustments. Capital projects of 3.1 million towards a sewer line replacement and upsize project on State Street between 58th and 60th. Stormwater, using 622,000 of reserves. Charges for services revenue did not increase. A rate study is currently underway. Capital projects of 1.4 million. You're seeing the progress of that on Wood Oak and 9th East. And they need to buy another 3/4 ton pickup with a plow. Hopefully they will actually get to use the plow next year. Enterprise funds, the solid waste fund is using reserves. Their reserves are at 83%, so we're not going to increase rates yet. The Murray Parkway Fund, no use of reserves. They are totally self-sufficient this year and are self-funded for their capital projects, and their revenue did increase 13% because of historical trends. The Power Fund, using 8 million of reserves, most of which are from bond proceeds and for projects that are currently underway. General fund summary, we will end the year at the same rate that we started. Sorry, it's very small. We've already talked about property tax. The sales tax revenue was estimated at the fiscal 2026 collection. Personnel costs increased 3%. Operations cost increased 2%. The cost for running the Murray Theater is not being paid by property tax. Currently, it is being used, we're using the .2 tax, which we all know goes away in 2030, and hopefully by 2030, It's not $0.9 million to run the Murray Theater, it's $0.4 or some other smaller, much smaller number. Break even would be fabulous, but we know public art doesn't quite do that. 3.3 million of Class C projects that are road projects, sidewalks, streets. Where it comes from, sales tax is our main source of revenue, charges for services, property taxes are second. And property tax is the only thing that that the city has any control over. We have no control over sales tax. Expenditures by category, 65% of our expenses are for people. 19% is for operations, Class C, that is the road projects, and debt service. And then transfers out, that is mostly the transportation tax that we collect. It's a sales tax that gets moved into capital projects and that gets used on streets projects. Expenditures by function, police and fire take up the majority. Public works, which is just the people, is the next. General government, which is all as being put, the attorneys and all of that stuff are 11%. Parks and Rec, ComDev, and debt. And then the transfers out. CIP fund, this is where the fun stuff happens. This is all one-time money that we have put aside and saved, or transportation money. Total projects funded 11.1. Fire equipment, police equipment of 845. Streets projects 2.1 million, in addition to the 3 million that is sitting over in they're going to buy an asphalt milling machine, which is very exciting for the water department so that they can dig up only where they need to. The Murray Park would like to put in a ninja course, parking lot repavement. The biggest one is the air handlers and the new roof on the park center. It's $3.1 million, and then other $1.3 million on other city facilities just to maintain, keep their roofs and HVAC and all of that working. The remaining budget dates, June 16th, the RDA is going to pass their budget. We're going to adopt, council meeting will have an adoption of the interim budget, which will be the budget we will use until after the final budget is approved after the Truth and Taxation hearing, and then August 11th is that Truth and Taxation hearing. Any questions? That was just quickie on our budget.
I will make it quick. The library where you said they are moving, could you explain to those that are brand new here in Murray why we are moving from the location? We don't know when, we don't know where, or anything like that, but could you explain to those that have moved into Murray?
The library currently sits on property leased from the school district to, I believe, in 2034-ish. That lease expires, and we have gotten no commitments from the school district as to whether we can stay. The second thing is they would like a bigger library. They currently have a bunch of facilities that are used way more. We could do way more things in the library and have more participation if we could have a few more meeting rooms and story rooms and stuff. So they would like to build a bigger library. Now, just so you know, the Salt Lake Valley, in their infinite wisdom, has said anyone who lives in Salt Lake Valley can attend and go to any of the 3 library systems, Salt Lake, Murray, or the county. If your city does not have a library of its own, you pay the county tax. Since Murray has a library of its own, we pay the Murray tax, which is less than the county tax, which is less than the Salt Lake City tax, but you can use all 3 libraries. So it is a good thing that we have our own library, besides the fact it's a fabulous library.
Yep. And you just had that switch because the state, was it the state that flipped our library funds into our city funds? Can you explain that also to those that?
If you looked at your property tax statement last year, The library rate was combined with the city rate due to the county auditor in their infinite wisdom thinking that for 20 years we'd been doing it wrong. So we have since changed the law, and you will see it split out again this year into the city library and the city. So we did not raise property taxes last year, although it looked like we did because it took two rates and combined it to one.
Thank you for those explanations.
Any other questions or comments from the council? If not, we will move on to the public hearing portion with public comments. We will start that now.
David Christensen, Murray City. I was not planning on doing this, but first of all, it's an honor to be here. I'm a little ashamed that I've lived here for 25 years and I've never participated in a public hearing like this, especially on the budget, and it makes me wish I had been more involved all these years. My question to the council, and I appreciate everything that's been said. I hope not to embarrass Miss Murray. She's my daughter. So I really respect our police officers, the fire department. They need, I really love how we pay them appropriately, and like the budgets reflect that. My question to whoever is, a lot of times at Costco, we will see the fire department asking for more money, like begging, as like beggars with their boots in hand. And so after you've done your I don't know what that money is for. I've always been willing to, hey, they need more money. Just curious to know, is that allocated? The money that they get from the public sector asking for money to put in their boots, obviously they probably need raises and stuff. So I'm just curious to know how that gets allocated. And so that's my question, my comments.
Do we continue?
Do you know the answer to that?
No, I just, do we continue with citizen comments and then public comments and then answer them? Oh, okay. We'll continue with our public comments and then address questions.
My name is David Black. I live about a mile from here. And I've not been to a city council meeting for many years, since I was in the Boy Scouts, I guess. But so I got this notice in the mail, said they're raising property taxes by 10%. And so being a retired guy on fixed income, I'm thinking 10%, Social Security only goes up 3 or 2% a year. What's the deal with that? If they got this huge slush fund or something that, in the city, and I come here and I'm just pleasantly surprised to see the detail that has been presented here. Specific things that, an extra policeman, extra snowplow, they're fairly small items, and that's comforting to me because I see all these new dump trucks going by my house and saying, as a city, are they flush with funds? And it looks to me like things are pretty well managed here, and you've got things pretty well in hand, and you're explaining things to people about what's happening. So congratulations on doing that. I'm comforted, and if my taxes only go up $32 this year, well, I'm just happy as a clam. So I do have I do have something, and I don't know if it's even appropriate to bring up at this point in your systematic presentation, but I also get a notice every once in a while that says that, it's once a year, that says we're taking all this money out of the public utilities and putting it in the general fund. And I'm saying, well, why do they have to do that? That doesn't sound right. They're going to charge me for watering my lawn, and the money's going for something else. It's not going for water. And so that's a question, and I don't know, at some point, somebody can address that in the appropriate time and the appropriate place, but that's a question that I have. So anyway, that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you, David. Are there any other comments from citizens? You can make a comment if your name isn't David.
David Child, Murray City. So one thing that you brought up that surprised me is and thank you for drawing that out a little bit on the library. I was surprised to hear that we can't work with our school district, our Murray City School District, to retain the property. That doesn't make sense. And I'm just going to add, I'm a very frequent library user, and I don't go to the Murray City Library. It is not as swell as, at least for me and my interests. I always go to Whitmore or Ruth Vine Tyler libraries, which are county libraries. They have periodicals. And Murray City Library has said that you can go buy your own, or you can go online and get access to, I don't know if you've ever tried to read a magazine on a phone, but it's not great. And so anyway, so I've been less impressed. So I'm less enthused about hearing, oh boy, we're going to get a new library. I wish that we'd maybe ask some of the library users what are some things that would make our existing library more interesting. But now I've been rude the whole time, and I apologize. And it has been swell, and I haven't been here either. I just got the notice, and I made a mistake and put it in my calendar. So, so do I have 30 seconds yet? No, just kidding. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We welcome all visitors and all comments. Are there any other comments from? Oh, we do.
Hi, Colby Alverson here from Murray. I think everyone here knows me, fortunately or maybe unfortunately. I first want to start by saying I really mean it when I say it. As a fellow public servant myself, you've probably heard me say this before, I am really grateful for what you all do and the time you put into this, and I know it's not easy. I work in the state budget office, so I look at budgets all the time for my job, and I found it interesting looking at Murray's budget, and I'll be the first to admit that I'm still learning that city government and finances are different than state, but I think there are lots of similarities. So just going over this meeting we've had today, a few points I wanted to talk about. The first are the water, sewer, and power revenue being transferred to the general fund. I think I've talked to some cities in the valley, and not all cities do that. And in standard budgeting practices, usually the goal is to tie costs to a certain thing with that certain thing and not mix it into other uses. So ideally, water should pay for water, power should pay for power, et cetera. And when you blend those revenues with other costs, it reduces transparency. It also can create an incentive to make money off of those utilities to pay for other disassociated costs. And one of the things that was raised tonight was that how we have a third of the property in Murray is for nonprofit. And so in order to pay for the impacts of that entity, we use these excess revenues from utilities to pay for that, which in effect means that residents who are often on fixed incomes are subsidizing super large corporations to be here, which is fine if we want it to be that way, but something that I think we should acknowledge. And it's definitely a policy decision. 30 seconds. Employee compensation. 98% of Murray's eligible employees are qualified for step increases, according to the budget I read. One thing I wanted to note quickly was the state of Utah, yes, we're doing a COLA, but because we're also facing revenue constraints this year, we did not do pay for, or I guess, step increases because the state couldn't afford it and didn't want to raise taxes. And we've actually done that the past 2 years. And then the last thing I wanted to say is the optional sales tax assumption in the budget. It's assuming that this revenue source is completely going away in a few years. One thing I wanted to note on that is I've heard it said that it's questionable whether the legislature will reauthorize that revenue source. One thing I wanted to note was in a few years we'll have a completely different legislature. So to say that it's likely they won't reauthorize it is questionable. And that's a few years from now. So my question is, if we use that as one of the compelling arguments to raise property tax, and the legislature ends up reauthorizing that property tax, what happens to the additional revenue that was generated by increasing the property taxes now?
Thank you. Sorry, we're out of time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. Are there any additional citizen comments?
So I'm Becky Sanborn, and I live in Murray. So just to preface it, I used to work with Murray City in the Parks and Rec Department. So one thing I always learned in there was residents are paying your wage. And so you got to treat them with respect, honor them, value what they have to say. And so I have taken that wholeheartedly. Now as a resident, I hate to admit, for basically 50 years in Murray, I've seen a lot of changes over the city. So hopefully my comments will be valued, or questions will be valued as well. Murray City obviously has been a great place to live. I have to say, over the last 5 years, I've seen more changes in our city. I can't necessarily say they've been for the best. I see it more similar to Salt Lake City. I have family members as well as friends that live in Salt Lake City, and the decisions that are made are not to benefit the resident. They're to expand the government. I respect all of you. I thank you all for being in the positions that you are and representing the districts that you have been. But I have a big concern as far as the trajectory that Murray City is taking, especially with the expenditures. Being an employee, a past employee, I know how the STEP program works. I know how the COLAs work. I know what went on when I was an employee. There's places to cut. And so that would be my question, is where, if our revenue or our expenditures encompass 65% is the personnel, where has it been researched where we can cut to avoid the taxes being transferred to the citizens? I have, a few months ago, a smart meter put in for my water and my electricity. Certainly, the technician said that it made things much easier because no one had to drive by anymore. There are expenditures that have been decreased that could be utilized to decrease taxes and not pass it on to the resident. I love Murray City. I'm really concerned about the things that are being incorporated to pass on to the residents. It's becoming very oppressive. There's been a lot of limitations as a resident, and I want it to remain a great city to live and raise my children, now my grandchildren. But please consider all that's being said here and evaluate where we can decrease before passing it on.
Thank you. Are there any further citizen comments? Seeing as there are none, we will close this public hearing and the citizen comments. And ask if, and we had some questions. Brenda, could you address some of those for us?
Number one, the fire department is not begging for money for themselves. It is called the Fill the Boot campaign. It's on the addendum. It's one of the charities that they go out, fill the boot, and give it to the Muscular Dystrophy Association. So that's one. Do you have other questions? We talked about transfers earlier. And if Colby would like to be a part of this, the STEP program and possibly get a merit, more than occasionally, like the state, he could come work for a city. He probably gets paid more than the city people do to start. I don't know. I haven't paid attention. The transfer, I think, we have no control over whether nonprofits move into the city or not. So once they're here by the land, they can do as they choose. I don't know if, and the smart meters, we're in the process of installing those, and we already have one less water technician than we did before, but those will be evaluated once they get them all installed. And that is the water department and the power department. Any other questions you guys might have?
I don't, but I just like when you do the dollar bill and you break it down every month, instead of looking at the $32 and some odd cents, you think that's gonna be every single month, and it's not, and it's broken down to $2.68 a month. And for someone that's on Social Security and husband being retired, yeah, I understand what they're saying, but it looks so much better when you see that dollar amount, that $2.68 instead of the $32. Yes, eventually you do pay that $32, but it's not every single month. And I really appreciate that, Brenda, that you bring that forward every single year. You bring that forward for me. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I had a couple questions, Brenda. So are there other cities that are like Murray that have a high percentage of like nonprofits like we do?
Oh, I'm sure Salt Lake City's got quite a few because they got the U sitting on their campus. Logan is very similar to us, Provo. It's a matter of, sure, we could not do the transfer, that's fine. I've done the math. If you have a really large house and are paying a lot for water, you might prefer the property tax increase that would happen to support the police and fire and the parks in the city. If you have a small house and don't use a lot of water, you're probably really glad that that little 8% goes to the general fund instead of your property taxes going up 30 to 40%.
Do a lot of those cities with a high percentage of nonprofit, do they also do enterprise transfers?
Yes.
Around the same percentage, or?
I don't know what they do. I don't study them. We have set ours at 8% and we have left it. Which would be a big if, because our legislature now and probably for forever is into cutting taxes, not increasing taxes, including sales tax. If that 0.2 stayed, what would probably happen, I don't know. I mean, it's 2030, it's 3 years from now, or almost 4. What would probably happen is we would definitely not need a property tax increase for multiple years. We have, the 0.2 has done what it's intended, and it has replaced a lot of roofs and maintenance on the buildings and stuff that was just all of the park pavilions, all of those brand-new playgrounds. That is what the .2 has been doing. And that will start cycling around again because they only last 15 to 20 years. So that stuff will continue. But something will happen. If we could keep it, if I knew for sure we could keep it, I wouldn't be asking for a property tax increase, but I do not know, and I do not trust the legislature to let us keep it. There are only 5 cities involved. What I would really like is that the other cities got to even do a .1 or something that they could keep within their city and not be subject to the pop split. The pop split is killing us. We get less and less sales tax because our population is not growing in relation to the others. So we don't get to keep everything that's in Murray, and we also have to worry about the pop split.
And with that optional sales tax that we hope continues, but we have no guarantee. Because we are not associating that revenue with any of our ongoing expenses, what are we doing with that revenue now while we have it that prepares us for?
We are associating $3.2 million of that with ongoing expenses. The mortgage payment on this building and the operation of the theater is directly, we're saying we're using the .2 for that. We are the Murray Theater renovation, the Armory renovation, the playgrounds, the probably very little streets, but streets equipment has been purchased with it. Fire truck, the fire department's driving around a brand new fire truck, or ladder apparatus, I don't know what they call them. But anyway, they're driving around a new ladder truck that was partially, if not fully funded by the .2 tax. Because those got to cycle every however many years they run through different cycles,
So we've replaced a lot of things, we've updated a lot of things that we won't have to update again for a while.
yeah, I very seldom now hear of a 1980 or a 1990 vehicle that we're replacing. We're starting to replace 10 and 12-year-old vehicles and not 20 and 25-year-old vehicles. But that,
And if we're able to get the legislature to extend it, then that'll change how we budget going forward.
yes, it will change what would happen in the future. But I cannot count on that. And if we start living on the .2 tax now for ongoing expenses, that will make the pain of what happens in 2030 even worse.
Right. We'll already have to replace a lot of income. We don't want to make it,
We don't
Even
want to make
more.
it worse.
unless it's guaranteed.
Or cuts to people, because that's the only place we could cut.
As far as that 8% in utility transfer, it was discussed that maybe those paying the rates for power and water and wastewater are somehow subsidizing the nonprofits. But isn't the idea for the nonprofits to pay their fair share into the general fund and to subsidize so that we don't have to increase our taxes that much more for the citizens?
Right, so the idea is, used to call it pilot or something, but the idea is that the nonprofits, including the city, pay for water, stormwater, or water, wastewater, and power. And so part of that return on investment is to help, so that they can help pay for the police officers. We probably, if we didn't have 50 extra thousand people run into that building every day, we might use less police officers. Might not need that as many firefighters. I don't know. Same with, we've got some few state buildings. We've got the University of Utah in the thing. We have churches. They don't actually pay a lot they pay for water, but not much power. But they need the roads to go to them. They need facilities. They need services. So it helps. It's not dollar for dollar, but it does take some. They are paying some of their share for the services that their employees and the people who visit them use.
And as far as what the tax increase, we went through a process. The mayor went through a process, the staff, and then the city council. Could you speak just a little bit to that of like how much it was originally, how much was cut along the way, and
It started with the mayor's budget when I developed it in March at 9.8%. That includes growth. So if we say we get 1% growth, it would have been 8.8%. Then you guys, as we went through the budget, cut a few things, lowered some expense increases. And then I went through and took all of the people that were vacant at the time. And in March, for some reason, we had 15 vacancies that had since been filled, put in the actual people, and it lowered to the 6.92%. Because I have to plan on them having a family or two-party insurance, and they might not. That swings, a family compared to a single guy can swing $20,000 in our budget. So I went through, it's now at 6.92, waiting for that growth number. If it's 1%, that will go down to 5.92. If it's 2%, 1 year since I've been here, we've had 3% growth. I don't know why, but we had 3. That would be a pipe dream, but if it's 3, great, and it will go down to 3.92.
and before the 9.8 was presented to the city and the city council, wasn't originally a lot more considered, and then wasn't there a process to cut before we even?
Oh, yeah, the mayor cut some things and talked to people and lowered things from everybody's original, this is what I really want, need. Yes, he had already done some cuts, and then you guys cut a little more. There were some things we cannot cut. The VEC, the 911 system, we have to pay that. There are health insurance. There are some assessments that come down that we have to pay. We cannot not. So, and those, of course, all went up.
So staff was asking to tighten the budget, and then we asked them to tighten it again, and that's what
Yes.
we're looking at today.
Yep.
Any other comments or questions from the council?
Can you just mention how much the health insurance went up?
14.7%. It has been really low for 3 or 4 years. In fact, last year it was like at 1. So it's not surprising that we had a big increase. Our claims this year, it cycles around just like any other health insurance, that some years you got good claims and some years you got bad.
Thank you.
I don't have a question for Brenda. I just want to make a statement that I'm really grateful for the people who came today to share their thoughts. You know, they each come from different walks of life, different expertise, different point of view, and I just want to say thank you. I think it's very important that the residents become involved in this, that they take part in this. You're trusting 5 people here who have been looking at numbers since March. Our eyes are cross-eyed right now. And to have you guys come in and just share your thoughts is really, really helpful for us. So thank you, and keep coming. I don't care if you disagree with me 100% and you want to fight me. Great. I'd love to hear your point of view. I think it's very important that all of you come. So thank you. I just want to say that.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for everyone who came, who made a comment, David's and others. Thank you to the city and the staff, mayor's office, all the department heads. Everyone worked really hard to come up with a fiscally responsible budget and tighten that and tighten it again and go through this whole process to get us down to this 6.9. Yeah, right. And it could go lower when the growth numbers come in. Thank you for all your comments. And this is, we're done with the public comment period for this public hearing, but we will have a truth and taxation meeting that where we'll be discussing all of these same items. And so citizens that are here, that are not here, we welcome all phone calls, emails. Come see us in person. We'll have several, I want to say 3 council meetings with with citizen comment before the Truth in Taxation. And so we welcome any and all comment, questions about the budget that's available online, questions about any chart. We're happy to either answer it or find out from Brenda and get you the best answer you possibly can. We want everyone to understand the budget, and we want everyone to not feel like there's any confusion around what we're increasing and why. Any last comments or questions on this public hearing? There is no vote on this public hearing today. This was the first public hearing to receive comment about this budget. The vote will happen our next meeting on the 16th of June. So our next council meeting is when we will vote. We will also be having public comment at that time as well before our vote. So if you were not able to come today, or you know somebody who wanted to come, they will have another opportunity, and you can ask all your questions and come prepared for more comments next meeting if you would like. Moving on from our public hearing portion of our meeting, we're on to business items. Our first business item is consider a resolution authorizing an increase of Murray City pickup of public safety and firefighter employee retirement contributions. Brenda Moore presenting. Thank you for presenting, Brenda.
Okay, this is the last one for tonight, and thankfully Robin Colton made me do it. So anyway, as part of the Tier 2 firefighter system and the Tier 2 public safety system, if you choose a hybrid option, there is a chance, and it did happen, that you would be responsible for paying into your own retirement. So once this happened, the state decided that, or most of the cities said, well, in order to compete for firefighters, we will pick this up for them. The state said that is just fine, you can do that. So anytime it changes, you guys need to approve a change in the firefighter pickup, because according to the law or the rules, this should be paid by the firefighters and the police personnel, but we have chosen as a city, and so has every other city in the adjoining area, has decided to pick this up for the firefighters and the police officers. So it's going from their pickup amount used to be 1.25%. It is now 5.98% in order to fund the retirement plan, which is a change of 4.73%. The total cost in the 2027 budget of this pickup, not just the change, but the total cost of the pickup, is $398,616. So that is what you're here to vote on tonight, is are we going to continue the pickup for the police and fire? It is already in the budget, it is included in everything that we have already discussed. And I hate to be like, well, everybody else does it, so we do it. Well, this is one of those cases that we need to be like everybody else, because this is something the firefighters and the police officers talk about. And it could be something that would make a decision whether you work for Murray or work for someone else. So that's what's on before you tonight.
Any questions or comments from the council? Okay, vote. Okay, I will entertain a motion
I move to adopt the resolution authorizing an increase of Murray City pickup of public safety and firefighter employee retirement contributions.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Brooke?
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Mr. Boland?
Aye. Motion passes. On to number 2, business item number 2, consider an ordinance enacting section 2.24.080 of the Murray City Municipal Code related to establishing a theater division of the Parks and Recreation Department. Jeff Martin presenting.
Thank you, council. Happy to be here, hopefully to lighten the mood a little into this meeting. We have 2 items before you tonight from Parks and Rec. The first one being the theater division. We created a Murray Theater Division. When we built our theater, it's underneath the Parks and Rec Department. All this actionable ordinance would do is just establish that division within the city code. So that's what we're asking you to approve tonight.
To clarify, it's the same amount of employees, it's just separating it out into its own division.
Correct. We're creating the division to establish it into the code now. It wasn't ever adopted into code, so.
Okay, so it exists, it's just not codified. Questions or comments from the council?
I have one.
Yes.
Who is running the theater?
Right now, our intern is Bethany Tucker.
Okay, and are you looking for someone else? Is she
Yes,
just-
that will be posted shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Any other comments?
I just want to clarify, there is no funding increase, there's no fiscal note attached to this, correct?
Correct. It is just to identify the code, to establish it as a theater division under the Parks and Rec Department.
Thank heavens, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
That does lighten the mood. Okay, well, I will entertain a motion.
I moved that we establish a theater division within the Parks and Recreation Department.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Brooke?
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Mr. Boland?
Aye. Motion passes. And on to the third business item. Consider a resolution approving a cooperation agreement between Murray City and the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands for a cost reimbursement grant for a trail lighting project adjacent to the Jordan River. Jeff Martin presenting.
So even better than the last one, we get to accept funding from the FFLS grant. We applied for this grant to help with the project of the Jordan River lighting. That project should be wrapping up in the next month, hopefully. And this is basically the city accepting those funds of that grant for $40,000. Any questions with that?
I have one. What is the location? I know Jordan River, but where's the location? Because part of my district is in the Jordan River. And
So it's going from Arrowhead down to Germania.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's not the part in your district? That's
No, this is all in my district, and really grateful for this grant. We have a lot of questionable activity that happens after dark in the parkway, and it spills into our neighborhood. And it's scary at times when you get up to get a drink in the middle of the night and see somebody riding a bicycle with a backpack checking out garages. And hopefully this will bring a little bit of light to that situation.
Yep, we hope so too, and just safety of the whole area.
Thank you for applying for the grant. Any other comments or questions?
I'll make a motion
Thank you.
to adopt the resolution approving a cooperation agreement between Murray City and the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands for a cost reimbursement grant for a trail lighting project adjacent to the Jordan River.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Brooke?
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Mr. Boland?
Aye. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, that concludes our business items. We'll move on to the mayor's report. Kim, do you have anything to share from the mayor's office?
Thank you, Councilman Bullen. In the interest of time, I think everybody's tired and ready to go home. I have no report, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions or comments from the council? I think we are tired, yes. With that, this meeting is adjourned.